Hey, everybody who thinks Joe Biden gives a shit about you. This is when they ask you to donate. This is what's on the Biden-Harris when they're running. Forgive all undergraduate tuition-related federal student debt. That's what they promised us. They were going to forgive all undergraduate tuition-related federal student debt from 2- and 4-year public colleges and universities and private HBCUs and MSIs for debt holders earning up to $125,000. So if you had debt from tuition in college and you made less than $125,000 a year, Biden promised he was going to eliminate your student loan debt.
That mark stalled.
Biden's going to only cancel 10 to 20 grand. So he's not doing that. I think the average is like 100 grand that someone has. Well, let's watch. White House officials are planning to cancel up to 20 grand in student debt for recipients of Pell grants as part of their broader announcement on Wednesday of student debt forgiveness for people familiar with the matter said.
Well, good thing I dropped out of school because I think that'll just about cover it.
The extra debt forgiveness for Pell recipients would be in addition to the expected cancellation of up to 10 grand in student debt for most other borrowers. So they're going to cancel 10 grand. The White House's plans are only expected to apply to Americans earning under $125,000 a year or $250,000 per year for married couples who file taxes jointly. What is in it for them to not cancel everybody's debt? Rich people, they go, well, you don't want to cancel rich people. Rich people don't have debt. That's why they're fucking rich.
Moral hazard, I was told.
Roughly 43 million federal student loan borrowers would be eligible for some level of forgiveness, including 20 million people who could have their debt completely canceled, according to internal documents shared with the Post. The president is also expected to announce that he will extend a pandemic-era pause on federal student loan payments that was first implemented under Trumpy. That moratorium will now be extended until December 31st or right after the Democrats get their ass kicked in the midterms. The announcement would put to rest months of deliberation over whether Biden would use his executive authority to forgive portions of the federal student debt. It arrives ahead of congressional midterm elections, no kidding. And it could give the Democrats a boost with some voters, but also threatens their standing with those who say the amount is not enough or too much.
Between that and my hatred of Trump, it should be just enough.
Biden has drawn the ire of activists and some student loan borrowers who were growing tired of promises of a decision that stretched over more than a year. Biden had previously expressed reluctance to grant forgiveness to people who attended elite universities, while moderate Democrats and Republicans derided the policy as fiscally irresponsible.
I mean, you shouldn't even be allowed to say that word after the Ukraine story. They shouldn't even be allowed to use that word.
The same people who say this is fiscally irresponsible are for giving that money to Ukraine, just so you know. The decision to add additional forgiveness, who cares? 7 in 10 college graduates with federal loans also received a Pell grant. Didn't know that. And Pell recipients have, on average, an additional $4,500 more debt than other college graduates, according to the... Did you know that? I didn't know that. The White House's decision rejects the warnings of centrist Democrat economists such as Larry Summers, the former Secretary of Treasury, who have said it will increase inflation and it's going to add to the federal deficit. But that $5 trillion we gave you and your friends, that was okay? That didn't add to the deficit?
He also said doing the Ukraine thing was going to do that and suck it up.
Yes, that's right. Oh, by the way, Larry Summers is the dumbest guy in the world. Even though people still take his advice on financial stuff, he's the biggest failure financially in the world, and people still listen to him.
He lost Harvard $1 billion.
He lost Harvard $1 billion.
I do like that about him.
Summers made Harvard take a big bet on the future path of interest rates that ended up losing the university $1 billion.
Wow. No wonder he was at Tony Robbins' birthday.
Yeah.
You can do it, Larry.
So Republican lawmakers are also expected to blast the White House over the move, arguing it offers unnecessary subsidies to Americans who made bad decisions while doing nothing for those who did not go to college. So going to college is a bad decision, according to some of those people. Here's Ayanna Pressley. She says President Joe Biden just canceled student debt. No, he didn't.
Oh, my God.
No, he didn't, you liar.
Not even asterisk with a fine print?
Nothing.
Wow.
To every organizer who fought so hard, this victory is yours. It's not really a victory. This is going to change and save lives. You guys are such bullshitters.
I was $10,000 short on an operation I need that I'm going to save.
Here's what Sabby Sab says. She says he canceled $10,000 for borrowers making under $125,000. A means-tested bowl of crumbs. Stop it. Canceling only $10,000 is a slap in millions of faces. It acknowledges the problem, but it doesn't address it. It's the middle finger to 45 million people. That's what Joe Biden's doing. This is their big strategy to get votes.
Yep.
I'm going to give him as a $10K off and here's a free coupon to Wendy's.
David Sirota, friend of the show, he makes it in to today's show. He says the average PPP loan, you remember the PPPs? That was if you owned a business during COVID, you could apply for a loan to get you through COVID, and then they forgave all those loans. So there was just free money. It said the average PPP loan to business was $109,000, and it was forgiven with zero controversy. Biden is now forgiving $20,000 of student loans, and the PPP is cool crowd is pretending it's a scandal. So he's pointing out that the people who got the PPP loans are bitching about the people getting student loan debt forgiveness. Isn't that crazy? Yes, it is. PPP loans were forgiven because rich people benefited from them. Student loans will not be forgiven because rich people don't have any of those loans.
Yeah, don't go to school unless you're rich. We don't want you in the levers of power and what have you, so there's no point in you going.
Millionaires, anyway. As Biden announced his plan for some student debt relief, let's all thank Nancy Pelosi for her leadership. Her leadership was she told people, I don't have the authority to do this. That was her leadership.
This victory is yours.
Pelosi said, Biden can't do anything. That's what Pelosi said. Look, the speaker's remarks come as progressive members in the House call on the president to use his executive power to cancel up to $50,000 in student loan debt for 40 million borrowers.
Well, I think that's back when we thought the January 6th hearings were going to be a bigger show.
Yeah. $10,000 for student loans, $20,000 if that student received a Pell grant. It's a token that will piss people off across the entire political spectrum, accepting people who believe compromise is evidence of merit.
Yeah, me and my hero Joe Manchin.
That's right. The student loan system exists because the baby boom generation didn't want to pay the taxes that helped put it through college at vastly subsidized tuition, but still expected younger generations to get all the same education. Result, generations of white-collar debt peonage.
Finally.
What's that?
Watch your mouth.
Watch your mouth. Brianna Joy Gray tweeted this out in 2019. If we had canceled all student debt in 2016, we would have shrunk the racial wealth gap between young white and black households from between 25 and 40 years old from 12-1 to 5-1. That's a pretty big deal. Hey, where would you get that money to do that? Where are you going to get that money? You think money just grows on trees? So this is how they would do that. This was Bernie Sanders' plan to put a tax on transaction tax on Wall Street, and it would finance that. That's how you do it. Without the burden of, so this is from Harvard. Without the burden of student loan debt, people seek higher paying careers, stabilize their finances, and contribute to the economy. So according to Harvard Business School, canceling student loan debt is good for everybody, because everybody lives inside the economy, and it's good for the economy.
Did they have a study on lowering crazy college tuitions, by the way, at Harvard Business School?
So there you go. It's actually, so to all the people who think this is bad, Harvard Business School disagrees with you. Hey, we're coming to Tulsa, Oklahoma City, Detroit, Los Angeles, Spokane, Tacoma, Denver. Go to jimmydorecomedy.com for a link for all our tickets for all our live shows. See you there.